I'm fed up with this government trying to control my life, more or less. I first got, involved in politics, I would say. I think I was mostly apolitical for the majority of my life. I always voted conservative. But, I wasn't super active until Trudeau got in power, and he started to slowly but surely try to eradicate my way of life, my family's way of life. And you can either sit there and let it happen, or you can push back. And, I think that's the case for a lot of conservatives out there in Canada right now, is they've sort of been just trying to hide and keep under the radar a little bit these last few years and hope the problem's going to go away. But it's not going to go away. We're in serious trouble now on multiple fronts. Firearms, of course, is a big problem right now, but that's just kind of the tip of the spear. The firearms ownership is I'd call it the canary in the coal mine when it comes to civil liberties in the country. And what happens to gun owners, it eventually trickles down to the civilian population, and problems start from there.
I'm glad you made that point, because it seems as though Justin Trudeau seized upon the pandemic and the chaos and confusion and the fear and the TV-induced anxiety that a lot of people who weren't quite paying attention to how things were shaking out, he used it to start, for lack of a better term, his great Canadian reset. He moved on firearms rights. He upped the carbon tax. You had these rumblings for UBI, which is sort of what everybody's $1,200 turned out to be. That was sort of the test of it. But what had been just something bantied around in liberal circles, he used an order in council to just like that ban some very popular Canadian firearms in the most undemocratic of ways. Just here's a list of things we don't like. And they just kept adding to the list. Like, there's a 410 on there. Yeah. I wouldn't shoot a turkey with a 410, but because it looked cool, it ended up on there. They're going after replica guns, which is going to level the airsoft industry. I guess, did you see that coming? I saw something coming. I just didn't see it that big.
I think a really good way to summarize everything that you just brought up is that COVID-19 has become a tool for power abuse in this country. Right from day one, there were many folks on both sides of the aisle saying we need to shut down travel from China, right? Like the pandemic was on the other side of the ocean. We need to shut down the borders and at least make an attempt to stop it from infecting our country. And he delayed, he deliberately let it happen, slowly but surely, the infections got in, and they were hoping it was going to be just bad enough to make things, so that they could spend a bunch of money without having any accountability, I think was the initial thing. But it got out of control, obviously. And everybody got sick. The healthcare system collapsed. The government services have collapsed. No matter what metric you look at in this country right now, the Liberal government is failing on the file, period. It's way over cost, and it's way underperforming. And the OIC gun ban is something that the Liberals they've been salivating at an opportunity to do this for many years. Like this happened with the long gun registry. This happened before. This happened in the 90s with Alan Rock and the initial C-68. They've been slowly but surely trying to eliminate civilian firearms ownership in this country for many years. And the strategy that they use is they try to find an emotional moment to manipulate the masses, to abuse the messaging with their friends in the media that they pay for, by the way, and use it to undermine civil liberties of every single Canadian. And it's very interesting how you mentioned that the OIC was done in an undemocratic fashion. Well, it's really important for any Canadian out there watching this. It doesn't matter if you like guns or not. The bottom line is he seized property without justification. He worked with the RCMP to create a story, more or less, to justify the action, and there is no recourse. And it's a real eye opener for every Canadian that we have no property rights in this country. Your home, your vehicle, anything, your bank account, as we saw with the truckers, anything that you think you own, the government can seize at will. And this is not like something that we need to disagree about. I think that people who on the other side of the political aisle as me, if they have a smartphone, they think they own that smartphone. No, they don't. If the government says, no, that's gone, it's gone. Okay. And, we have to establish some sort of property rights in this country, or moving forward, governments on all sides will abuse this power. So I would recommend that Canadians who are concerned about this issue, they look into the Canadian Coalition for Firearms Rights. They actually have a charter challenge underway. We're pushing this through the court, and the latest I've heard is there might be a decision on it in December or January, but it's going to be a preliminary decision, because if we win, the federal government is going to take it to the Supreme Court. And if we lose, we're going to take it to the Supreme Court. So it's a long ways from being over. But the bottom line is we all need to help fund the CCFR and other organizations like the JCCF to make sure that our charter rights are actually being upheld in this country.
Oh, hey, what you just saw there is a clip from my weekly full-length show, The Gunn Show. It airs on Wednesday, but this is the internet. You can watch it whenever you feel like. You just have to become a subscriber to our paywalled premium content. Just go to rebelnewsplus.com to become a member today.